In the year 2007, video game developers Jade Raymond and Patrice Désilets revealed the fundamental installment of Assassin's Creed, which inevitably delineated to be resplendent and inimitable. It was unveiled as an immersive open-world game with profound depth, immensity, and intricacies. The reincarnation of the Holy Land was certainly a revolutionizing concept, and what the two pioneers had fabricated corroborated that the game was enchantingly idiosyncratic. And when it officially released, the players comprehended that Assassin's Creed embraced unfathomable conceptualization, a narrative about redemption set in a world-encompassing atmosphere, solemnity, ambition, characters, and non-playable characters that were concatenated into the game. It felt like a diegesis that is rendered with incognizable historical conflict, a thread on consecrated demarcations, philosophical and moral contemplations, insinuating callousness and barbarity that could be experienced whether you were assassinating a target or simply drifting through the tormenting and melancholic streets of Acre, Jerusalem, or Damascus. Assassin's Creed instigated innovation in the gaming industry to revolutionize, and its sequel Assassin's Creed 2 evolved the franchise to a monumental echelon, encapsulating an intimate and sympathizing story concomitantly nuanced and intriguing, but also establishing the quintessential and prominent characters of the franchise, retaining to augment its exceedingly transcendental maneuverability system fervently in the captivating world of Renaissance Italy. Albeit, Assassin's Creed 2 emerged as a Paramount chronicle, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood meditated over the rudiments of the first two games in the series and recommenced to enhance them. Brotherhood contrived to evolve and authenticate itself as an archetype of what open-world games will be remodeled as, with its enthralling replication of Rome, replete with unrivaled side content that precisely catalyzed the city to materialize as a dynamic conscious. Rome was an incarnation of a breathing entity flourishing with life, and Desmond once again reliving the memories of Ezio Auditore, who ushered in wisdom and prudence of impeccable character writing. The first four games were revolutionary, as they implemented a prodigious upsurge through the video game industry that countless video game architects were compelled to imitate their formula, whether it be eagle vision, parkour, social stealth, execution chains, owning properties, recruitments, navigation puzzles, or the historical settings. Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations were eminent for novelty in the industry at the time of their release, epitomes for essentially every title that is published over the past decade in this genre to be composed of open-world settings. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is financially the most profitable title in the franchise, pertaining to the period it is distributed to the public, and as the franchise prospers, one may contemplate and conjecture that it remains to be an undeviating, distinctive, and formidable portrait that it once was. Unfortunately, the franchise had deteriorated to incorporate unbridled methods to deceive its supporters and only procure money from them. Rather than producing video games that enthrall the player, Ubisoft is outwitting with the symptom that is eradicating the foundation of the franchise as they continue to capitalize from unlawful business practices by degrading the quality and beguiling the established title to scam its passionate consumers by altering to a game that has nothing to do with delivering rapture but exhaustion and deception. It is anguishing and heinous to perceive how Assassin's Creed has been desecrated and exploited for shareholder privileges and remunerations. With Assassin's Creed Unity's unforeseen catastrophe, the game that, regardless of its conspicuous blemishes, still embraced the enduring identity of the franchise, but Ubisoft stipulated to remold the games, discerning the franchise's uncertain financial implosion, and to thrive monetarily, they intuited that the franchise's identity is stagnating, and that it implores for re-establishment. But they did not cognize the rationale for the plummeting sales was not monotony, but the annual releases, which were solely devoid of finesse and ingenuity. To regain the momentum it once had, Ubisoft deviated from the established course, and based on what they had accomplished, this diversion seemed promising to resuscitate its reverence while preserving what made the video games primarily appreciable. But what we envisaged was fallacious. From the years 2015 to 2017, open-world role-playing games were burgeoning. Precisely Witcher 3, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Shadow of War, an opportunity for Ubisoft to blatantly plagiarize these titles. So, instead of concocting an unprecedented transition or reconstructing the gameplay and architecture, Ubisoft deduced the anatomy of their achievements and fathomed that they are obliged to embark on this open-world RPG formula post-haste. But they also had to ascertain that it is commercially successful, and Assassin's Creed had adequate brand recognition to profit. So, when Assassin's Creed is amalgamated with a coveted blueprint, we are supplied with Assassin's Creed Origins, the game that is reprehensible for annihilating the identity of this franchise. Ubisoft studied the veneration and the veracity of Assassin's Creed's name to preserve relevance from a cultural viewpoint, and abused it to manufacture their Witcher 3 replica. Assassin's Creed Origins sold over 10 million units, so the following year, Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a game which departed to advance in the role-playing trajectory, but also comprehensively eradicated the identity of the series, extracting the core foundation of Assassins and Templars to an absolute extent, downgrading the parkour to a monotonous scaling routine, devising the tenet of an assassin that is stealth to become redundant, and inserting abilities that impel the game into the spectrum of fantasy by completely breaking the lore. The enthusiast who revered what the series was formulated on yearned that Valhalla would reinstate the franchise's meaning, and while it brought back the motive of the modern-day storyline, social stealth, hidden blades, assassins and templars, they were eventually labelled futile after its release. In spite of Darby McDevitt's fidelity to reintegrate the elements that fostered the franchise and re-establish its identity, the executives were strategizing other schemes and had entirely different philosophies. They sanctioned an extensively bloated Viking RPG that should be branded under Assassin's Creed to be certain that it is perceptible, but with Vikings, assaults, raids, settlements, exhausting skill tree, abilities, Viking and Odin-based season pass where players embark on a saga not connected to the lore and narrative of the games, cosmetics, and a 75-hour story that would elucidate the enumerations ostensibly lacking a coherent system, which they can accentuate their volunteering investors. Ubisoft's deplorable stratagems evince that they're not concerned in crafting a tremendous game with an unfading legacy, but they are unambiguously inclined towards benefiting from fads by misusing Assassin's Creed's name on a Viking simulator. For an individual who has endorsed Assassin's Creed since its origin, it's truly desolating to observe a franchise I once appreciated to be reserved as a product that provides steady income for a business whose objective is now only profiting as they deplete its capabilities, heedless of its rectitude. If you seek the answer from anyone who has enjoyed oneself by playing the games, understands the identity of the title and the nuances of storytelling, that what is their preferred installment and protagonist, they will definitely say Altair, Ezio or Edward, and Assassin's Creed 1, the Ezio trilogy, or Black Flag as their favorite entry. Question them to define Assassin's Creed, and the answer would be its revolutionary depiction of assassins where the protagonist, armed with a hidden blade and garbed in robes, blends in the environment for assassinating targets by resorting to their combat and stealth skills. They will elude its poignant soundtrack, the intriguing modern day, the beautiful settings, and the mesmerizing tale of Ezio and their immersive experience. Those who cannot decipher the meaning and message behind the games and their gameplay will certainly reference Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. It is unarguable that this methodology adopted by Ubisoft is contributing for accumulating copious proceeds, but at the cost of that expansion, they discarded the identity of the acclaimed series. Envious of other companies, they disavowed their heritage of opening new horizons by obtaining the notoriety of cupidity. With the release of Assassin's Creed 2, the franchise was esteemed to a great degree, a video game developers endeavored to imitate. Now, Assassin's Creed is a flawed and abysmal franchise with no direction, and with the studios at helm impudently stealing from other developers and have become complacent about their creation. It is disquieting to endure this decline. Once upon a time, Assassin's Creed was my favorite franchise, a series that induced me to appreciate open world games of this genre. It convinced me to enjoy storytelling in this medium, but that time is long gone. A time when Assassin's Creed did not abandon its core values and morals for their desired benefits of wealth. A time when Assassin's Creed did not abandon its identity and compromise the Brotherhood.